let's talk CrossFit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Dusty, let's start with you. I know you mentioned something about some massive weight loss thing you had.
Mm-hmm.
But what ultimately, let's just discuss what kind of got you into CrossFit and then kind of take it from there.
Sure. I was in my whole life pretty much. I was heavy, graduated or got into college, and still heavy. And then right before my senior year started, I got into mixed martial arts. And I have slightly of an addictive personality, so I got like crazy into mixed martial arts. And I went from 275 pounds, and
really?
I fought at 155 in 9 months.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, about 9 months of training, and then so I did mixed martial arts for a long time, a lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of striking. And then this is the way that CrossFit got into it. Somebody said, hey, I go to this CrossFit gym. I know you're pretty fit. You could probably do it. So I walk into this CrossFit gym thinking that I'm lost a lot of weight. I'm in the best shape of my life. Probably going to demolish everybody. And I got worked over by everybody in the gym for as long as I was there. And then I was immediately addicted. So I got into CrossFit right there. And then I've done that ever since then. It's got to be 12, 13 years now.
Hold on. Let's pause.
Sure.
What was it about MMA, if you will, in jiu-jitsu,
Sure.
that really caused you to say, I'm assuming you tried to lose the weight before.
Sure, yeah.
But what really was the switch was flipped and you said, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember 2006, the UFC started getting on Spike TV. That was like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I watched one of the fights and I got immediately addicted to just watching it. And I always wanted to do it, but I never wanted to really put the work in. And then one day, I was really thinking just having a bad day, one of those days. And I went to the mailbox. I wanted to lose the weight. It's just hard, man. When you get there, it's hard. It's not as easy as everybody wants it to be. I opened the mailbox, and this local gym that's an MMA gym is giving a free month. So I was like, that's a sign. I should go do it. And I did my first class, and I was completely addicted. That was all I did. I went to school, sure, but I was in the gym all the time. It just flipped a switch. And I found out that I'm very competitive. I like to win, which is why CrossFit works a lot too. I'm very competitive. But it really I became addicted to that versus all the other unhealthy things that I was doing. So I became addicted to mixed martial arts, and then it all kind of spilled into CrossFit as well, and kind of mixed the two together. But that's kind of how I got there.
Did you play sports in high school?
I was pretty good at lacrosse. I was going to play lacrosse in college, but it didn't end up working out. But besides lacrosse, just nothing really in high school or anything. I played soccer a little bit too. But
at 275 pounds?
275 pounds was my heaviest when I was in college.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I was probably in the 240s.
Okay.
So still a big guy for my frame.
Yeah.
But I could that competitive. It's like a switch got flipped in my brain. I was never super competitive, and then whatever happened when I was in college, it kind of flipped my switch, and it was just a different person.
Did you know Laura at the time?
No, I didn't meet her till later.
Did you show her pictures and be like, would you have fallen in love with this?
Yeah, she probably says yes, but we all know it's no, right? Yeah, we know it's no. She says it to be nice, but yeah, so I met her through CrossFit.
Sure.
He's so funny, but...
She's like, yeah, he's got a really good personality. No, so she does, she knows. I think she respects it more than anything. It was...
When you told that story to me the first time,
yeah.
I could not believe it.
I'll show you after the podcast is over, but I didn't pull a thing up. But sometimes people don't believe it. And there's I was living a very unhealthy life. And it's literally I don't know anything else other than it just flipped a switch in my brain, and that was it. I was just a different person. All that other stuff that I was doing couldn't have mattered less. I just did martial arts now. That's what I did. So, and that's how I got. That's actually how I met my wife through CrossFit when I was coaching in Pennsylvania. But so that's kind of been a part of my life ever since.
So you've either been in the gym or coaching, instructing, basically everywhere you've lived. Now, continues forward. You move into Huntsville, and one of the first things to seek out is where am I going to work out?
It's what
gym do I want to be a part of?
Very important. Yeah. CrossFit's especially with the way my brain works is we would look and see where's the closest gyms. Even it's not as bad now because I'm a little older, but when maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, if me and Laura went on vacation, we'd be like, where are we staying and where's the closest CrossFit gym so that we can go work out at that. And a lot of people still do that.
Yeah,
they go check out where the closest CrossFit gym is. I've backed off a little bit with that kind of stuff. Now if I go on vacation, I'm not even worried about it. I just need time off of doing whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we moved here, well, it helped a little bit because Mabry did CrossFit and he went to this gym. So he was like, hey, when you guys move here, you can at least come try this gym out. But I mean, he's a really good friend of mine, so I was probably going to end up at this gym. But it worked out that way.
And have you ever wanted to own your own gym?
When I was younger, so yes, because when you're into fitness, that's like the dream. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like you wanna own a gym, you wanna do those things, but it is you think it's this one thing, but then you start getting like, so I was in a management position at a gym. It's not what you think it is, because the hours are really long, the pay is not really great, and you have to devote. And then if you're immersed in it all the time, it's hard to do the things that you wanted to do. So like if you're immersed in training all the time, when it's time for you to actually train, you don't have as much energy. So you kind of lose love for the thing that you loved because you're just in it all the time. So taking a step back from that was a huge benefit to my life. Like kind of saying, hey, I'm not going to own a gym. It just didn't work out. And CrossFit's really weird in terms of its business structure. They don't franchise, they affiliate. So you can kind of do whatever you want, and the business model is that the strong survive. So we're not helping anybody out. You can start a gym anytime you want. You pay me your fee. If you're really bad at it, you're going to close your doors, and that's going to be the way it goes. But that makes the bar to entry really low. So many people can open a gym. So you're competing with a lot of people, and unless you were one of the early adopters, you're probably not going to be, super successful, like making a whole bunch of money. And they've eliminated you being able to open like multiple locations. Like you can have one affiliate under your name, and that's it.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit more challenging.
It's kind of like podcasting. It's easy to get started, right? There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't mean there should be a lot of podcasts out there, but there are a lot.
Low bar to entry, and if you stick with it a little bit of time, you're already in the top 10% of podcasts.
Yeah,
all you have to do is stick with it for a little bit.
There's a lot of litter on the way to success for podcasting.
Now, what about you in CrossFit? What's your journey there?
So, wasn't really interested in CrossFit while I was in the Army, and then I needed kind of something to do. Jennifer and I we were signing up to do a Tough Mudder race up in Pulaski, Tennessee, and she saw a Groupon for this. It's the current location where the gym is, and a lot of the same people, different owners. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know. I wasn't interested because on the outside looking in at CrossFit, it just seems kind of cultish, and it seems like I don't need another set of friends. I've got enough friends. You guys can both appreciate this. I have the maximum number of friends I have at any given time. Like I don't need any more. I don't need any more drama. I don't need other people's stories or anything like that. But so I wasn't interested in that. But I thought, well, let's try this because it'll be something to do. I wasn't doing a whole lot anyway. Freshly retired out of the Army, and did it for a little bit. Started to enjoy it, and what's the benefit to CrossFit is the sense of community that you have because everyone's doing the same workout in that gym together, maybe at different times. But then you grow closer to those folks because you're cheering each other on.
Yeah.
And so I quit for a little bit. This is now the second owner of the gym. Quit for a little bit for a variety of reasons. And, my nagging injuries like back spasms and that sort of thing would come up from time to time. And I remember Jennifer saying, why don't you just go back to the gym? Because you kept talking about how great you felt. And so I did. And then by this time, I think it was transitioning from the second owner to now the current owners for CrossFit Invigorate. And Dusty and company had just came right around the same time, right after I came back at this point. I was only gone for like 9 months. And then there was a different feel to the gym. It was starting to grow. Then the third owners came in, and then now we've got a good management team, great coaching team. Dusty's one of the best CrossFit coach. In fact, he's the best CrossFit coach I've ever known. But
really?
I've only been doing CrossFit like 6 months. Or 6 years, rather, not 6 months.
Why is he so good?
It's the looks.
It's the beard.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. He starts talking, I'm just like looking at it. It's like, man, I wish I could grow a beard like that. No, what he does, he's a very patient and straight. He observes and he's watching what you do all the time, without like, hey, you didn't do this right, Adam. But like he'll walk up, hey, do you mind if I give you a tip on this? And he starts coaching you. And if that's like the informal coaching Dusty, but then the formal coaching Dusty, it's step by step. You should do this, you should do that, and just it's the way one should coach another person.
So when did you know you enjoyed instructing and kind of had a gift for that?
That's a good question. I probably did CrossFit for a year before I decided, well, I can make a little extra money coaching. I came to find out that I have an eye for weightlifting. I could explain it to people. So like weightlifting is really difficult. Like, Olympic lifting, snatching, clean jerks. It's difficult to make somebody that may not have great control of their body do what you're asking them to do. So it's more like a puzzle. And I have a good communication style with people and I can understand that people learn differently.
Yeah.
So, it became a lot of fun for me. I wasn't doing it full time. I was just doing it part time. But I really enjoyed it, and I could get my message across to people. Like it was, coaches started coming to me being like, "Hey, I'm having a hard time with this person doing this. Can you step in and try to help?" So that's where I kind of figured that, like, not intentionally, whatever my delivery style is and the way that I explain certain things to people, they tend to get it.
Yeah.
For whatever way. Part of it's like coaching for so long, you get a bigger arsenal of things to say at people. Like, 'cause not the same thing works for everybody, but you kind of build your bag of tricks that you have that you can say to people. But I really do enjoy it. I do it now. Like Adam just said, like I'll kind of keep to myself and I'm kind of watching. And if I see somebody doing, I'll walk up and be like, "Hey, you mind if I give you some advice?" Because you don't want to step on people's toes when they're trying to work out. You just want to kind of let them do their thing, especially if I'm working out too. But I do enjoy it. I try to do it. I just put a seminar at CrossFit Invigorate recently. Try to do that stuff. Life is busy now, so I don't get to do it.
Is that the one there, the handstand push-up?
Yep. That's it. That's me. Yep. Yeah. Handstand push-up. I taught a bunch of people how to do handstand push-ups that day.
Yeah. I love me some handstand.
I kind of figure that's kind of essentially a tougher thing to describe to someone, technique-wise, right? Something they don't do that often.
Yeah, like handstand push-ups specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, people typically, we aren't upside down, and unless you were a gymnast, that is a total foreign thing, and you don't want to be upside down. Some people do gravitate towards it, but I mean, if you have, there's like an inherent fear. Some people don't want to be upside down, and they want to learn the movement, but they do not want to be upside down. So there's like some things you have to do to break that and kind of get them, eventually when you get somebody upside down, they'll be like, "Oh, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be." But that thought of flipping upside down and like losing control for a second is definitely terrifying. So it's a gymnastic skills are hard to coach always. Because it requires a crazy amount of body control, and unless you grew up doing some kind of sport or doing something like that, it's a lot more difficult for people to get that generally.
I could see you guys on your podcast, the RFTB one, talking about phobias and the phobia of like being upside down. I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
but I could see you guys going to town on that.
As long as one guy thinks differently than the other three, we always have something to talk about.
And don't get us started on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah, my God, we had a long argument. As long as one guy takes a stance on something different, we can about, like, Andrew will most likely be like, "I'm the best handstander ever in the history of the world," and we'll have to explain to him why he's not. Look at Abby the intern laughing.
You can always count on him to dissent.
Yeah.
So 5:30 a.m. That's when you guys are there?
Yeah.
Basically every morning.
Every morning. How far away are you from the gym?
I'm pretty far. I live all the way at the very tippy top of Elkmont, almost in Tennessee, so I'm about 30-ish minutes away.
Okay.
I'm like 15 minutes from there. That's why I decided to go there in the first place. I'm like, well, it's close.
Yeah.
So this morning you're both up 4:30?
I get up a little before 4:30. Now it's a little more challenging. We have a 6-month-old at home, so I'm not allowed to turn on any lights. I'm allowed to make zero noise. I can't turn the outside light to see where I'm walking. So so I have to give myself a little bit more time because I can't not see what I'm doing now. But so 4:15, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah. I get up at 4:30.
It was like when I know you guys interviewed Erica. You interviewed Erica, right?
Yeah.
And she gets up I think she said it was like 4. I'm trying to remember. It was like she gets up at like 4:24 and hits snooze and gets out of bed at 4:32.
Yeah.
And she's at Burn Boot Camp at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
every morning.
That's a weird concept. Some people are snooze people. Like my wife will set 37 alarms because she knows she's going to snooze 36 of them. If I snooze it, I'm not going to whatever I'm doing. Like, it's over. I have to get up on my first alarm, or I'm just going to go back to sleep. But she'll, like, if there's a morning where I'm trying to sleep in, and I'll just hear like alarm after alarm after alarm after alarm after alarm, and I'm just trying to.
Does she fall back asleep?
Yeah, she sure does. Yeah, she sure does. Yeah, it's been fun having a baby and trying to fit that schedule in because she does better now. But she would set so many alarms, and there'd be days where I was like, if that goes off one more time, I'm gonna smash your phone on the ground. I can't take it. You're gonna have to wake up on one of these alarms.
Angry.
Hey man, sleep is very important.
I thought I was a morning person, but there's something. I'm 47 now. I'm about to turn 48, and like I struggle.
Yeah.
I struggle. And I just feel more tired. Like once I'm up, I'm fine. But I was never like that before.
So I wasn't always a morning person. I had a hard time getting up when I was younger, and then slowly but surely I've turned into this morning person. I'm 53 now, and like I get up, even if I don't have an alarm, I'll get up well before 6. Most of the time between 4:30 and 5 with no alarm. Just like, well, I guess I'll just find something to do.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned a Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
Right. And Spartan bought Tough Mudder.
Oh, they did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Joe DeSanta did. Yeah, right before COVID. I'm assuming they made it.
Yeah.
And I just did a clip. I don't remember when this came up, but I'm having to go back through all my stuff, right? All my hours of content just to find shorts. YouTube Shorts, man, that's where it's at. And I found this one on Joe DeSanta and these like 3 principal. He grew up in Long Island, and his neighbor was in the mob, like Tony Soprano.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And he had him come over to help him. He's like, he was looking at. Well, I guess his dad wasn't in the picture, and the mother was like trying to look out for her boy or make sure he didn't, go astray. And the neighbor's like, hey, you can come clean my pool. And so he went over there and gave him like these 3 principles, and then he had like 1,500 pool customers by the time he finished high school.
My God.
And then of course he just that typical story. He goes to, in this case, Columbia, drops out, not for him. He ends up making a bunch of money on Wall Street, moves to Vermont, buys a huge farm, and that's where he started Spartan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I bring that up because are you guys into racing? I mean, I know you're doing the CrossFit, and I know you do competitions, but do you also do some endurance running and things?
I don't.
So I've done Tough Mudders and Spartan races in the past. I haven't done them in, a long time. I haven't done them in a long time. They are fun. They're very fun, but it's hard to squeeze them in with everything else.
Sure.
I know that a couple people are doing one in Nashville, a Tough Mudder, from our gym here pretty shortly. But
Well, what about the just competing in CrossFit? Do you guys compete at all the? Are you still competing?
yeah, Adam, did you do one recently?
So there's one that I'll do. That's about the only kind I'll do. It's called the Battle of the Ages, and it's this pretty good model that this guy came up with. Kelly, he's out of Birmingham, right? Called Battle of the Ages, and it's a CrossFit competition, and they have a number of different ways that they slice it, but a popular one is by decade. So either the decade you were born or the decade you are, because those are not always overlapping. So I was the over 50. James, he's another guy that he was a guest on the podcast, and an authentic Huntsvillian.
Yeah, his family.
Like his family's like
here.
generations
Yeah.
back here.
Oh, really?
He was the 40-something. We had a 30-something guy. He's actually, Dave is from Maryland, so
Yeah,
he has Maryland socks.
yeah.
But he doesn't listen to podcasts, so we
Yeah.
can say what we
He
want
stinks
about him.
anyway. Who
Yeah,
cares?
he's actually the worst.
Yeah, yeah.
I was talking about all these things that are the best out of Ohio. Dave's the worst.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, out of all the things in Ohio that stink, Dave stinks the worst.
Yes, absolutely, 1,000%.
Yeah.
So
He'll listen to this one and be like, guys.
So we went to we competed in it was near Chattanooga, northeast of Chattanooga, and did that. The thing about those CrossFit competitions, I don't know about others because I've never done anything other than a Battle of the Ages. Because I did one up in Nashville with Dusty. Actually,
Yeah, we did.
That
We
was
had a good time.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
There are folks there that take it so seriously that they will actually take advantage of medical things that you can do, human growth hormones and and testosterone replacement therapy. And it's obvious when someone's doing that because you don't see too many 50-year-old guys that are like super cut that look like they could be, other than the gray hair.
Yeah.
And
they're not testing. They're not testing people at local CrossFit competitions.
Yeah, especially for like a battle, which is kind of fun. So you go there and you're competing. It's like, we don't have a chance against these other teams because they all look like they could be in Fitness magazine.
Yeah.
And I do not. I could not be in Fitness magazine.
Is that you in your first one?
Okay, so it's not really a CrossFit competition, but that was
your first competition.
It was the first competition. That was out here on near Yellowhammer, between Yellowhammer and Straight
Campus
to Ale.
805.
Yeah.
I don't even recognize that man without a mustache.
Yeah, that's me, sans mustache. Way. How you are greeted as a new, as a drop-in. That's what they call it, because you pay a $25 fee, whatever it is. how you're greeted, one, because that kind of determines the vibe, and then also just how they're coached. Because there's folks, the coaches could be like super fit, great athletes, and they know technically how to do all the moves or whatever it is. But if they're not conveying that information and they're just up there enjoying their chai, latte tea and eating my oatmeal or whatever it is, after they do the briefing and you're just kind of struggling along with like, I want to improve my clean and jerk and I can't do it because this guy's just over there talking on his phone or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, equipment is a separator. Like if you walk into a gym, what their equipment looks like, how clean their gym is, those kind of things are important. But if you do CrossFit for a while, you can spot the coaches that don't care versus the coaches, and that's how CrossFit gets. If some people have a negative view on CrossFit, it's like the bad coaching.
Yeah.
But you can get a bad personal trainer at a Globo gym too. It's the same thing. It's just you pay a premium to go to a CrossFit gym. It's more expensive than other gyms, and what you're paying for is that coach's knowledge and ability to coach you. So if you're in a class and the coach doesn't talk to you or look at you, that's not the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's other gyms with other coaches that are going to spend time and give you your money's worth, basically. Because you're there to grow most of the time. Some people aren't there to grow, but for the most part, people are there to grow, and they want your knowledge, and it's really your responsibility as a coach to give that to them in some part every time you see them. So even if they're from the best athlete to the newest athlete, you have to do that. And there's some people get, just like anything, some people get tired or wore out, or they don't want to do it anymore. They don't want to spend as much time. It's too hard. This person's too hard to coach. But that's how gyms separate, and that's how good gyms stay afloat and bad gyms don't. Is really, it boils down to that coaching. Because if you're a gym with bad coaches and one of your athletes goes to a gym with good coaches and they don't even know that you're a bad coach yet, but when you go actually see somebody that can coach, all of a sudden it's totally changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine that there has to be some sort of thought amongst people that, oh, this is easy, right? I'm going to get some equipment, and maybe they downplay the coaching side of it.
Yeah.
And they're just going to, I'll just get some workouts from the internet. And as long as I have some cool equipment for them to use, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Or they could be, like the owner could be like a fantastic athlete, and then he knows some of his buddies that are fantastic athletes. But if they're not setting the tone as a coaching staff of like, we are here to coach the person that walks in and is a moderate athlete and moderately experienced, we're here to coach the person that just walked in the door and they got a coupon to be to a CrossFit gym and they want to try it out. And they're in the worst shape of their life and they walk in the door. So we need to coach that person and bring them up, but not ignore the people that are also, trying to hone their ring muscle up.
Yeah.
So it's a tough thing to do, especially you got to deal with jokers. That sense of community cuts both ways, because this coach has to wrangle this group of friends that are now going to get ready and do this thing that they don't really want to do, but they want to do it, and get them focused on, hey, this is what we're doing today. And then there's always a comedian or 8 comedians.
Yeah, or a bunch of them. Every CrossFit gym I've ever been to, the early morning class is always wild. Like
Really?
It's always wild. Ours is the same way. Like it's always wild.
It's
like,
awesome.
Like it's people that are somewhat driven to be up that early and work out, and they all become friends because it's like hard to work out in the morning. None of them really want to get going, so they're all like, we're all delaying, all making jokes, and it takes a special coach to wrangle all those people in, because you have.
It's worse than herding cats.
Maybe
bobcats.
Yeah, everybody's talking, everybody's trying. You're trying to wrangle these guys up and focus them up so you can get started and get the class finished, because everybody's got to go to work. And we'll be the first person. Hey man, you ran the class over late. I'm late for work, but we're the ones that are stopping you from getting us going. So
because you're telling stories to Todd. Or whatever.
That's right. So it's
so then every gym must have some sort of, you have like kind of a prevailing culture that exists.
Yeah.
And then. But then the time of day might alter some.
For sure.
So then I would imagine if someone's really just not cut out to be a CF Invigorate, like that will most likely take care of itself.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
And
it's not just on the coaching. It may just be like, oh, I just don't
it's the
fit in with
environment
these
also.
people here.
It's coaching and environment. That's the two big things.
Some gyms are inherently a very competitive gym. They may have like in the area all the young people that want to compete, so they all kind of just go there, and that's not the spot for. Maybe that's not the spot for the 70-year-old grandma that just wants to start moving around. She may be intimidated by that, and it may not be the spot for her. That does happen from time to time, and that is like our gym is. has a pretty good mix. We do have some competitive athletes, but we have a wide ranging group of people, which sometimes we're just lucky. Like it's just the way that it plays out.
Yeah.
So,
And it's transient. It's only a matter of time before it changes and morphs over
Yeah,
time.
that's right.
Nothing's permanent.
yeah, nothing's constant like that.
Yeah. I've always wanted to, and I don't know why I haven't joined a CrossFit gym. And I should just do it. Now that you guys are here, I should just do it.
I mean, you're going to like it.
I know.
You played sports.
The only thing I was doing, and it was just because I used to have, in Virginia, had like an hour-long commute. Where it was 50 miles. And so I would hit Orange Theory and Ashburn on my way home. I lived out in Winchester is where I moved from.
Yeah.
And I did that, just cut a cardio thing, lost some weight. I was running more than lifting. Every time I lift, I would end up getting like tendonitis or something would happen, get some sort of injury because, it's hard to like, you just want to get back into it.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Lift whatever, and then
Yeah.
you tear something. But I was going to do Iron Tribe because it's right here. But I don't know, maybe John Allen's been like, come on out, man, come on out to CF.
You need to give Invigorate a try because
All right.
it's a good environment, great coaching. I don't know anything about Iron Tribe, but they're probably the worst. They're definitely not the best.
James used to go to Iron Tribe.
That's right,
And
yeah.
James goes to CrossFit Invigorate now, so that there's one right there.
Well, from Gate 9, where my office, I'm just outside Gate 9, could just shoot up.
It's real quick.
Just shoot up, right?
I mean, it's
10-minute drive?
a blast, man. You won't regret it. That's for sure.
Pretty soon you'll be buying the shoes. You'll have a jump rope.
Yeah.
Then you get a bag.
Your podcast studio will be in the gym like ours. It'll be.
I actually kind of have a gym in the garage.
Do
I
ya?
just don't use it enough.
Well, that's the thing about something like a communal thing where sometimes, in fact, I saw a meme about it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to work out today, but I just go to the gym because that's where my friends are at 5:30 in the morning. And so I get up and I go, and I'm miserable, and then they're like, okay, I'm glad I worked out.
Yeah.
Guess
that's
what
right.
was it? I remember listening to, was it like that, what's that podcast? It's like Money Planet or Planet Money. And there's like in New York, there's these gyms that it's like ridiculous. It's like $1,000 a month, but like people join there because of like this accountability.
Yeah.
It's like, and you will, and they'll penalize you if you don't show up.
Yeah.
They'll like cancel your membership.
Oh, we razz each other if we don't show up.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Or also check up on the guy. Like, hey, I haven't been there for 2 days. And it's just because I was, doing some stuff.
Ours is
Yeah.
more of an emotional damage if you don't show up than anything financial.
Emotional
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
but it was just this weird, it was like during COVID, I was listening to this thing and like the psychology of, hey, why don't we actually make people pay a ton of money and then they'll actually like be committed.
Yeah, they have to.
They have to go.
They
'cause
have
they're
some
paying-
kind of investment. Yeah,
That's a Veblen good.
It's
Isn't
an
it?
exorbitant amount of money.
yeah. We do it. Like you can almost tell. Like if somebody doesn't show up, they're like waiting for you to text them. They're like, "God, he's gonna. I know he's gonna text me. I know he's gonna." And then I'm the first one to be like, "Hey, man, where were you today?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, I got work." And I'm like, "Quit work. Stop working. If this is getting in the way of CrossFit,
You got to get your priorities straight.
Yeah, man, come
or
on,
when you
let's
show up and you've been gone for like 3 days, like, hey, welcome back.
Yeah, that's like if you don't show up for 3 days, that's like the running joke in the gym. It's like, who's the new guy? Everybody's like, that's funny.
We got this guy that I'm sure he'll never listen to the podcast, right? But he just retired from like the Army. So he works with us now and he's kind of doing that. Hey guys, listen, I got to get my boys because he's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell anybody.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody's new and they feel like they have to always explain themselves,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
why they're leaving at 2 or 9 or 10, like whatever,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, this is not the Army anymore. I don't know what your office was like. We're cool.
Yeah. We're all adults here. Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to cover? I know we probably are getting a time where you probably need to go.
That was a lot.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. I don't have anything else on top of it.
Let me show you a couple more pictures then.
Sure.
Just as a capper, but let's see here. 1 second. I want to hear about this, Dusty. The reveal.
Oh,
This
boy.
is from your reveal party, right?
Yeah, it is.
Can you tell me about this? How'd this go down?
Yes.
It ended up being a boy.
It's a girl.
It's a girl.
It
Oh,
is
it's a girl.
It's a
Okay.
girl. So, so some of our really close friends came over. We had an Edgar's cake because Edgar's
Okay.
cake is the best, and they do that gender reveal thing. So the funny thing is Laura was convinced it was going to be a boy because when we were talking about names, I could only think of one name, and it was Walker. It was a boy's name. She's like, "You're not even thinking of any girls' names." I was like, "Well, no names are. I can't think of any for a girl, so it's Walker." And she was like, "What are you going to be mad if it's a girl?" And I was like, "No, I'll be fine." So we had this our friends over. I think it was a Sunday, I want to say we changed the whole date of it because of Mabry.
Yeah,
Mabry,
there was something.
Mabry,
like
if you're listening,
it's
you
his
know,
fault.
Yeah, it's your fault. But everybody came over, and that's when me and Laura got to find out that we were having a beautiful baby girl. Super fun day, so we really enjoyed that.
So there's cups and there's glasses. I mean, like, what happens here?
Nothing happens. That's more for an ambiance kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
We basically, you buy the boys and the girls glasses, so for sure you're wasting money on half of that stuff that you bought.
Literally. half.
So we pretty much.
So it was the cake. Once you opened
the cake.
okay.
So we pretty much threw. Everybody put on the glasses that made sense after. We had people pick like, hey, pick if it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
The people that picked boys, they were shamed, and I was like, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you wear that one? But they all end up getting tossed away. But the cake was a giveaway. They give the white icing and then the cake on the inside.
And those glasses probably were a waste of money. Like, who's going to wear those
Super big
again?
waste. I wore them. You basically can't see through them. They're nonsense. I mean, I don't know why, but it was it's an exciting time. But it was super fun.
Hold
so we
on.
really enjoyed
Now,
it.
this is a Mouser picture.
Yes.
And I brought this up because I'm a little bit nostalgic myself. I have 4 kids. 3 are in college and only 1 left. And I miss these days of in the van or whatever. And, of course, you have a dog. You still have the dog?
Yeah, we still have the dog.
What's the dog's name?
Ginger.
Ginger. But just the trips with the family.
Those can be fun.
Before the kids start telling you that assuming they're smarter than you and fighting with you all the time, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing how dumb you become when they turn 14.
Yeah. Duh. I know, Dad.
You don't understand. Things are
You don't
different now.
understand.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I never said that. So
Go ahead.
I can't remember what trip that was, but it involved Florida, I think. You remember Abby the intern? Oh, we went to Auburn. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we took a trip down to Auburn.
You're taking the selfie, I guess. We can see your eye.
I just took that quick picture. In fact, and there are several others in the vehicle, but and I think there was another vehicle.
You got spike ball back there?
We do.
Nice.
Oh yeah, you're a spike ball guy.
Big spike ball guy.
You compete in that?
No, I like to think that I could though.
I bet Emily could take you.
Who Emily?
Emily Mouser.
No, I'm unbeatable.
Really?
I'm like 150-0, I think. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Hold on, I do want to show one more picture from the Mousers. And this is high school graduation.
That is
Recently?
Sarah. That's Abby the intern's younger sister, Sarah. She graduated from high school. We homeschooled her throughout. We homeschooled most of our kids, but then we've got several now that are down in Madison Academy.
Well, and I picked this picture on purpose because the stash looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
In this picture.
It does look good.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, it looks good now. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah. Anyway, I always like to. I didn't bring up that many pictures because it's harder when you have 2 guests.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
You
sense.
know, that way you did like, hey, I didn't get an equal number. But I wanted to just go through a few of those. Any final thoughts, guys?
No, I enjoyed it. This was a good podcast. It was good to see another podcast, The Way You Do Business. You've got a lot more lighting, much more lighting, and a lot more screens. And so every once in a while, I would see movement. I'd look up at the screen, and I see myself looking away.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
I texted Andrew, our executive producer, and I said, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Well, it's nice." I was like, "Yeah, a lot nicer than ours."
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and we are going to have you on Mish Mash Men.
Hey.
Our FTB gets a lot out of control.
Yeah, you probably don't want to be RTB.
Having 5 guests. Did you ever listen to our episode with
Tim Pickens.
Tim Pickens?
No.
He's I don't even know what you call him. What would his designation be?
He's
rocket scientist?
A rocket scientist, self-taught engineer.
Self-taught engineer.
Self-taught engineer.
He worked with Robert Bigelow for a while. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I've heard the name.
He like shot inflatable space stations things to the space station. He's a big alien. I'm an alien nerd. I think
Well, I like your new T-shirt.
You like that?
Anomalous.
That's all her idea.
Anomalous what phenomena?
Yeah, the University of Anomalous Phenomena. We are now taking applicants. It is it's much less than normal college tuition. It's $500, and you can write the check out to Dustin LaBar, and you'll get your education.
A portion of the proceeds will go to something.
Yeah, a portion of it goes directly to Abby the intern, who comes up with the diplomas and T-shirts.
That's awesome.
So, but that was a fun episode. But when you get that many people,
it's tough.
It's really tough. So Mish Mash Men's a better avenue for like actually sitting and talking a little bit, just kind of like it is right now. So we definitely want to have you on. You've seen our studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will be executive producing that episode unless I can sneak Andrew into doing it, or if Abby the intern will do it. Yeah, there you go.
Depends on if she's in town.
Yeah, we'll make it so you're in town.
I'm thinking about taking over the bigger room here.
Yeah.
So that I have just more room, because now I really need to add another camera for the group shot. Because normally, if you're not sitting there, then that camera sits there and gets us here,
Right? Yeah.
right? And that's like the wide angle.
Yeah.
But and then my brother though, he's in Hollywood, right? So he's my consultant. I don't talk to him that often.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just spent a lot of money on a boat.
Oh.
It's just him. He's 50 years old. It's just him.
Yeah.
And he bought a really nice boat
Like-
because he doesn't have 4 kids like I do and
I
paying for
gotcha.
college.
Yeah.
Like walking around below decks, upper deck, that kind of boat, or
Yeah, like a sleeper boat.
yeah.
He lives in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
And
that's
but anyway, he's like, just when I feel like I'm proud of what I've done, even though he does it professionally, and I limp along and I get some advice from him. I'm always like seeking his approval. It's like that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
He'll be like, "Hey," like the other day. Actually, I know this is getting kind of geeky, but these capture cards produce a different color set than if you go into the switcher. I just realized that. So I'm like realizing more and more. I just learn something all the time. Oh crap! I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You can control the color in the software here and on the cameras, and they all have to match up.
Gotcha.
So I'll get to a point where I feel like, hey, I've done it, and he's like, hey, let me know when you're ready to upgrade and take it to the next level. I'm like, and now he wants me to buy like $2,000 cameras
Oh, nice.
because. Yeah, of course. If you're watching these people who have a lot of money, they have really nice cameras.
Yeah.
But
Well-
there's $2,000 per camera.
When you upgrade your cameras, I know somebody that'll buy your old ones.
Yeah, these are like $650 each. But their pan tilt
they're
zoom is
used
nice,
now.
man. You can just sit there and burp, burp, burp. But no, I really appreciate you guys coming on.
It was fun. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
Good-
you're welcome.
Good time to be here. Yeah.
And
It's
it's again, I love the degrees of separation, and like you built. We talked about before the air, but we Erica's parents' house. I think I had Rosalie Holcomb on, who was Erica's.
Oh, she told me. Yeah, she told me that
she
you
was
had-
like the real estate agent for whatever.
Yep.
It's just all these. Just don't piss anybody off in Huntsville, right? It's going to come back and get you
Oh yeah.
because
It's a
everybody knows
small-
everybody.
town.
Everybody does know everybody.
It is
That's
a
right.
small town.
I just want to put it out there that I love every person in Huntsville ever.
1,000%.
1,000%. Yeah. So everybody's the best.
The best.
Yeah, everybody's
You've
the best.
you've come around from when I heard Huntsville. We don't go by our last name.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first thing I heard, and there's another one. What's the other one? Gosh, that was the best. I like that. Huntsville. We don't go by.
We
our
don't go
last
by our
name.
last names. I mean,
There's another one that people use, and I can't remember. I can't think of it right now.
I'm not
But-
sure, but I like that one. Don't use anybody's last name.
All right, guys. Hey, Abby, thank you. Appreciate all you do.
Thanks, Abby.
Thanks, Abby.
We'll talk to you
The
guys soon.
intern.